morning, friends, and happy Saturday. If you can hear the washing machine in the background and you watched last week's vlog where I had to fix my dryer, you understand that I have so much laundry backpiled and I'm getting close to the end, but I still have my laundry just constantly running until I'm caught up. So I'm sorry about that, but it is the way that I have to live my life right now. This vlog was supposed to be a 24-hour reading challenge. However, looking at my calendar and the way that this weekend ended up being laid out, I'm just making it a weekend reading vlog. So sorry if you were looking forward to that, but I will try and do one of those in the future. But let's just talk about what I'm gonna read this weekend. So first of all, I started Heir of Fire and I'm really enjoying it. I am, I believe, 51 pages in. I'm really liking it, but I also don't think I'll finish it this weekend, so I might pick this up here and there, but I really want a book that I can speed through this weekend since my TBR is so huge. So while I might pick this up and read a few chapters at a time, here are the two books that I think I'm going to choose between. The first one is Shady Hollow. This is a book club pick for my real life book club that meets in person. And it's really short and it's a cozy mystery, and I'm almost positive that if I really wanted to, I could fly through this one in a day. And then this is just a romance book I have that doesn't fit into any of the readathons that I'm doing this month. And that is The Neighbor Favor, which is a romance, kind of like an anonymous, you've got male trope. Also, he is a fantasy writer and she really likes his books and they've been communicating, but they don't realize that it's each other that they're communicating with. So this one just sounds really cute and it's also pretty short. So I'm not sure if I'll pick up both of these or one of these, but these are my choices for the weekend. We're already off to a busy weekend because I had to fix my garbage disposal this weekend. I have an old garbage disposal and I live, I know, in an apartment, and they've replaced a lot of my appliances, but not the garbage disposal. So every now and then it gets a little bit jammed up. I'm an expert in fixing garbage disposals and apparently dryers now. So if you need one of those fixed, I'm your girl. I have a dinner show performance tonight. It's the first performance of the new one that I've been rehearsing for. I get to play like a ditzy girl meeting her boyfriend for a date, but it's a murder mystery, so keep that in mind. Something goes down. And we have that at a location about 45 minutes away tonight, and I picked out a really cute outfit for it, so I'm really excited. And then tomorrow is nothing but reading time. So happy weekend, and I look forward to picking up some books with y'all. I actually put those two books on Instagram, Shady Hollow and The Neighbor Favor, and let people vote on which one I should read or which one I should start with. And I really was expecting Shady Hollow to win because I see more people talking about that one more frequently, but as of right now, The Neighbor Favor is winning, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop the poll right now and start with that one because it sounds fun. But first I'm gonna make lunch. It's actually leftovers from yesterday. I don't do meal kits very often, but every now and then when I just want life to be a little bit easier, I do. I did get an every plate box this week, and last night I made a really delicious meal of green beans and meatballs and some garlic bread, and I've got leftovers, so we're gonna make that today. I'll show you what the card looks like, but it is this meal right here. So balsamic glazed meatballs, and then you've got green beans and some garlic bread. All right, we've got our tasty lunch. I can't lie, like it is so good. And then I've got this water, which has strawberry Skittle and green apple Skittle mix in it. I am obsessed with Skittle mixes in my water, and that's today's flavor. Decided to join us for some flops and for some loves. Hi friends, it's time for a reading update. I decided to just chill and read in my bed this morning. I told y'all The Neighbor Favor was winning, and I started this like 30 minutes ago, and I am at part 2, page 60. It's so cute so far. So we have our main character, Lily, and Lily is having a real hard time in life. She's working for a publisher as kind of like an assistant. It's not what she wants to do. She wants to actually work in publishing. Right now, it's what her job is. And she's got a really big family. She loves her sisters. They're always trying to set her up on dates, but Lily's kind of introverted and anxious and doesn't love it. And then she has this book that she loves. And it's a fantasy book that never got a sequel. She doesn't know anything about the author, but it's kind of like her comfort read. Meanwhile, we have a second point of view from a guy named Nick, and he is the author of this book that Lily loves, but he has no plans to keep writing. He is very pessimistic, but not like in a unenjoyable to read about way. His points of view about life are a little bit more on the pessimistic side, but almost funny, self-deprecating. They start emailing back and forth because Lily's like, oh my gosh, he has a website, I can email him. And their email correspondence is so cute. It feels very You've Got Mail. I've tabbed a couple email moments. It's just really cute, but we're getting into like real life and not just email anymore. So I'm so excited to see where this story goes. Update you. I have done my hair and my makeup for tonight's show. I'm gonna put on some red lipstick, but I'm gonna do that before we perform, which is not for another 3.5 hours. Book update. So I'm almost at page 100 and I still think it is so adorable. I did not know until Kindle Bookphoria messaged me on Instagram that this book was written by an author who previously wrote only YA, and that does make sense because some sections of it feel YA, and not in a bad way. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like it could be a YA book, and then all of a sudden there'll be an F-bomb, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is an adult book. And I have to remind myself of that. But I think both of the characters are very dynamic characters. They're definitely unique. They don't feel like other characters that I've read. The main female character, Lily, struggles with anxiety and social anxiety and just kind of wanting to be an introvert, and she wants everybody to stop trying to plan her life out for her, and she just wants to be allowed to exist and not have to strive for excellence all the time 24/7. And then Nick has obtained excellence because he was published, but things just did not work out for him as soon as his book was published, and I think that he struggles with a lot of self-doubt, negative self-talk, and just not believing in himself. We haven't gotten as much point of view from him yet, so I'm still a little bit unsure about it. I'm annotating it, I'm loving it, I'm speeding through it. Reading experience reminds me of what it felt like to read when I was a kid and did not have the distraction of my phone, and I could just sit down and read an entire book in one night. That's how fast this book has me turning pages. It feels like reading The Princess Diaries or Ella Enchanted, those books that you literally would pull off your shelf, sit on a floor, and read. I did that with Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban one Sunday afternoon. Why I have this memory, I don't know, but like I got home from church, I pulled Prisoner of Azkaban off my shelf, I sat there and I read until it was time to go to night church. And I have similar feelings towards the reading experience of this book. Obviously, vastly different scenarios, but I love it, I love it, I love it. As much as I wish I could sit down and read for the hour that I have left before I have to meet my castmates, I really need to take some time to look back over my script since this is the first time I am performing this particular part in this particular show. The line of acting that I do leaves a lot of room for improv and being able to cover for each other if somebody messes up, but obviously that's never like your first desire. You don't want to mess up. Hey guys, it is now Sunday afternoon, like 12:20-ish, and I have not done any reading today. First of all, I got home very late from the show last night and I immediately fell asleep, and then I slept in until 10, which I can't remember the last time I did that. I was very tired. It was a very fun, very successful show. The room was weird because it was like 2 rooms and we only had a narrow passageway to walk in between. so that like everybody could see us, but I think it went overall very well, and it was my first time doing this character, and she was a lot of fun, and I think people really enjoyed it. I got some clips of the house and stuff that I'm sure I put in here before this, but it was a beautiful location as well. But the plan originally for today was to go to the pool, which would have been fun. However, it's going to be an even better day because my best friend texted me and was like, hey, want to meet up for coffee and read and work on computers and stuff? And I was like, duh. So we're going to this really cool coffee shop in just a little bit that also sells used books. All of their coffees are book themed. My favorite is the Heart of Darkness, which is a dark chocolate and raspberry coffee. So I haven't had one in a long time, and that sounds so good today. But I'm going to take the neighbor favor. I got to page 102 last night before I fell asleep, and it was like the kind of reading where you aren't sure if you remember what you just read and you need to put the book down. So I'm going to take it with me today. Anyway, it's going to be a great Sunday. Let's go. It's Monday morning. I feel like this has been the vlog of all of the b-roll and not much talking, but that's okay, right? So we got to wrap it up since it is Monday and this was a weekend vlog, but I'm here to tell you that I finished The Neighbor Favor. I had like 30 pages left to read this morning, and I thought this book was absolutely adorable. Let me preface this by saying I feel like I have been very spoiled by Emily Henry and by Abby Jimenez as far as like perfect romances and perfect writing. I just feel like their writing and their character exploration is immaculate. So this book I didn't feel was like on that level, but it was its own thing, and so that's okay. I loved, like absolutely adored the beginning, which is all written in emails back and forth to each other. This is where you're going to see most of my tabs. And I think I figured out that the reason I like that so much is one, it's like the you've got mail. We don't exactly know who we're talking to, and we're finding comfort in like the anonymity. You know what I'm trying to say. We're finding comfort in being anonymous and emailing each other back and forth and getting to know each other that way. And it's in first person. And I think that is the key to why I loved the emails so much. And I think that the rest of the book that's not written in emails could have benefited from being in first person, because there's a lot of Lily thought, Nick thought, Lily thought. And so instead of having to break up the narrative with all of these thoughts, I feel like it would be more intuitive to just go ahead and write it in first person so that their thoughts are like ingrained into the narrative. I feel like some of the depth wasn't there, but I feel like it didn't have to be. This was definitely more of a rom-com than a literary romance exploration, and so I thought it was just a whole heck of a lot of fun. I did end up rating it a 3.75, which I know to some people feels low, but when I'm looking at other books I've read, it's not a 5-star. And it's not a 4-star, but I didn't feel right giving it a 3 or a 3.5. So 3.75 is where I landed. And to me, that's still a high rating. That's like way above average. So I really recommend this book for just a really easy, fast read. You'll fall in love with Nick and Lily in Nick's book, The Elves of Ceradon. I do wish we got some like excerpts from the book. That would have been really cool. But I love the kind of literary world that we were living in because she's working as an assistant to an editor, and he's obviously this author who has wished to stay anonymous. And it was just really sweet. I liked it a whole lot. And just this morning, when I finished this, the author, Christina Forrest, has already announced the second book and released the cover for it. So it's going to be about Lily's older sister, Violet. So have you read this one? If you have, why don't you leave like a city emoji? Like one of the they're in the squares in the city. As far as this weekend went, I had a whole lot of fun. Saturday, I had my show where I got to make my debut as a character in this show called Dying to Meet You. And then yesterday ended up being pretty much a whole day of hanging out with my friend. We got coffee and hung out at the coffee shop for quite a while where I got most of that book read. And then we came back here and I made dinner. I made some chicken quesadillas and we wrapped up watching My Name is Earl, which is an older show. Y'all, nobody told us that season 4 ends on an episode that says to be continued and then the show got canceled. What? Has that ever happened to any of y'all? Because it absolutely blew my mind. We were like, this has to be a joke. There has to be a 5th season or another episode out there. There's not. It ends on a to be continued episode. I loved the show though. I thought that it was really sweet and charming and funny. Have you ever watched it? Because it's a good one. And then to top it off, this made me cry. This is just the kind of person I am. My favorite show of all time is Monk with Tony Shalhoub. It's a We Solve the Crime in One Episode detective show, and it's about a detective who is living with OCD, and while that does hinder him, it's also a way that he goes about solving these crimes. He pays immaculate attention to detail, but I love Monk so much as a character. The show ended in 2009 or 2010, so I've been without it for a while. It's my comfort show. Some people watch The Office for comfort. Monk is 100% my comfort show. And they did like a little mini reunion during COVID, which was so funny because he's an OCD detective, and obviously during COVID, like germs are everywhere. But my friend just told me that they are doing a Monk movie, bringing back all the cast for Peacock. It's gonna be a 90-minute movie. I'm so excited. Like, I want to start crying again because of it. And this is just one of those shows that has such a grip on my heart that I will love forever and ever and ever. And part of it is just Tony Shalhoub's character of Monk. I love it. I love it so much. My favorite episode of TV of all time. Number 1, Mr. Monk and the Kid. Number 2, the Reichenbach Fall on the Sherlock BBC series. Number 3, the Jim and Pam engagement episode. Those are my top TV moments. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because it is Monday, and that means I need to start a weekly vlog. So I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more bookish content from me. And all of my social media, as always, is linked down in the description box below. See you in the next one soon, guys.